Welcome back, everyone. We're talking about creating GUI windows with Java using the Eclipse plugin for WindowBuilder. In the last video, we talked about just creating a project. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an actual project. I created it, called it a BMI calculator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a JFrame, and we'll just call it BMI calc. Give it as a name. And so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and set up our calculator to process BMI. Now for BMI, you need to know the user's total height in inches and their weight. With that information, we can calculate, using a little math, their body mass index. So what we're going to do is we're going to build out this project here on the window. Okay, we're going to use an absolute layout. First thing I'm going to do is label my outer window. So under title, I'm going to put BMI calculator. Click anywhere. I'm going to click on the middle window. See how it's got the frames here. And I'm going to make this layout be absolute. You can choose other layouts and test them out. It's up to you. And we're going to add a little welcome text. And one of the things that I noticed is JLabel is good for single lines of text, but if you want multiple lines, you want to use JTextPane. So what I'm going to do is click JTextPane, and I'm going to draw a text pane window. Hold on. There we go. And I'm going to take roughly the top third or so of the screen, and I'm just going to write welcome. And then I'm going to hit enter, and it puts welcome here. You will notice the background is white. Your font might be a different font, so we're going to adjust that real quick. But one of the things you'll notice on this welcome, if I click anywhere else, it's got a white background. I want it to blend in with the rest. So in order to do that, I'm going to change the background color. So we'll do a little bit of changes on here. Notice it says text PN welcome. So for text pane. Click on background. I'm going to use swing colors, button.background. I believe that's the right color. Notice now we don't see it anymore. And then I'm going to scroll down to the text, and I'm going to edit it in this window. And we'll do a little introduction and put a little introductory text about what this is all about. So one of the things you do, once you set this, you can set the font if you want to change that. You will see font right here. This is Tahoma 11. I can make it a little larger if I want. Notice the text gets a little larger. Okay. And then we have, I think that's going to be good for now. And so what we need to do is add some fields where we can input our information. And we're going to label each of those. So if we want to, we could click label, and I'm just going to put, like here, we'll put height, or height. And then for height, we're going to have two input boxes. One is, and we're going to use text, JText field. So one, we're going to put here for feet. And I'm going to change, one of the things you want to do is change the variables here. We use the naming convention of 3 or 4 little lowercase characters to represent what it is. In this case, it's a text input. And then feet is what we're asking for. Now, the text on here, I don't really want any text, so I'm just going to delete that there. Okay, but I'm going to put a label on the right. So I click JLabel. I click. Try to get it lined up as best I can. Feet, like that. So now we have a blank. It says feet. We'll do 1 for inches. Notice if I click the label, it now says label FT. I'm going to change that in here. Keep it consistent with my input box. Notice the text doesn't change. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Control, select both of these, copy them, and then paste them just alongside. And in this case, this one is going to be txt inches. And I'm going to click on the part that said feet before, the label LBL inches. And then I'm going to change the text here to be IN, excuse me. Click off of it. Okay, so we have feet, we have inches. I'm going to try to move these over. By the way, I had to undo that. It is a little touchy. That looks pretty good. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to add a submit button because I want to show you a little bit about how this stuff works. So it's a J button. Click over here. I'm going to line it up with that, and I'm going to type submit. Hit enter. Notice the name is BTN submit. Okay. So this is kind of how you build it out. And one of the things I want to show you is how we can get the text from a window and display it. So I'm going to have one more label called, and actually I'm going to use a JText pane. And I'm going to have a results window over here. I click results. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Change the background color, swing colors, button background. So the first thing we want to do is find out, can we get this information from this window? And we're going to display it on results. So I double click submit. So if you want to do something on a button, you just double click it from that window. So if we go back to design, all I did was just double click there. And inside of here is where we're going to put all of our code. Okay. So you've got all the different components you see, like text, PN, results, inches, text field. So we're going to get txt feet dot. It should show it. There we go. And we're going to try get text. Okay. And we're going to get the text from there. And actually, we're going to need to save it. So we'll put string feet equals text feet dot get text. And then we're going to set our text in the text pane results. Notice how I put a little dot there. It's not showing it. And let's just go ahead and try it. Now, it doesn't like what I did here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this above the button. Control X to cut. Go up above. Control V to paste. Notice it's not underlined anymore. So really, this is the only real code I've done other than moving my text pane above it. Now we're going to test this out. So if I put 6, for example, and click submit, notice that changes to 6. See that? Okay, so how did that work? Well, let's get this window open over here on the side. And when I click submit, it does this action performed. Okay? And this is part of the button submit action listener. So basically what it's saying is let the button listen for something to happen. And that something is a click. So action performed is representing the click. So everything in this curly bracket and this curly bracket is what happens after I click the button and let go. So we create a variable called feet. We make it set to whatever text we get from txt feet. And then we take the results, which is a text pane, and we set it to that variable of feet. And of course, I can put results plus feet plus feet tall, like so. Oh, I need the plus sign. Okay. So now in my results, I have this right here. Let's go ahead and test that out. Results, 6 feet tall. Okay. So that's basically how you would program this. So really, the real key is to figure out how do we get text, how do we set text, how do we interact with other objects, and what are some other options that we have. In my next video tutorial, I'll explain how do we make sure that someone enters information, and that's called form validation. Stay tuned for that one.